My beloved child, everything in your life has been leading to this moment. I know you have wondered if the delays meant denial. I know you have asked me in the quiet of your room, why has it taken so long? You have felt the weight of waiting. You have carried questions in your heart that no one else could see. And sometimes, in the silence, you wondered if I was still writing your story. But I tell you now, nothing has been wasted. Not the tears you cried when no one understood you. Not the nights you lay awake, replaying conversations in your mind. Not the doors that closed so suddenly that they left you confused and breathless. Every step, even the painful ones, was guiding you forward. Even when you thought you were standing still, I was moving mountains you could not see. This moment did not arrive by accident. It was not rushed, and it was not delayed beyond what was necessary. I have been weaving together threads from years ago, moments you barely remember, choices you almost regretted, encounters that seemed small at the time. All of it was preparation. All of it was shaping you for now. You thought some seasons were endings. You thought certain losses meant you had failed. But I was building strength inside you. I was teaching your heart to trust beyond what your eyes could see. Like a gardener who prepares the soil long before planting the seed, I was loosening what was hard within you, breaking apart fear, pulling out roots of doubt. The process felt messy. It felt uncertain. But it was sacred. My child, you have been standing on the edge of something greater than you realize. The restlessness you have felt is not random. The stirring in your spirit is not your imagination. It is the sound of alignment. It is the whisper of destiny drawing closer. The moment you prayed for in your weakest hour is nearer than you think. Do not dismiss this time. Do not shrink back into old fears. You are not here by coincidence. Every no redirected you. Every delay strengthened you. Every disappointment clarified what truly matters. What felt like detours were actually divine appointments. I was guiding you around dangers you could not see and toward blessings you could not yet handle. Now you feel it, don't you? Something is shifting. Something is different. The same life, the same surroundings, yet a new awareness is rising within you. That is because the season is changing. The preparation is meeting opportunity. Awaiting is meeting fulfillment. My beloved child, everything led to this. This is not just another day. This is a threshold. And I am standing beside you, steady and sure, reminding you that you are ready, even if you do not fully feel it yet. My beloved child, let me speak to you about the seasons that made you. You often measure your life by visible milestones, achievements, relationships, open doors, answered prayers. But I measure by something deeper. I measure by the strength of your heart, the depth of your trust, and the quiet courage you built when no one was applauding you. There were seasons when you felt hidden. You watched others move ahead while you remained in what felt like stillness. You wondered if you were falling behind. You questioned whether you had misunderstood my voice. Yet in those very seasons, I was shaping foundations within you that could not be shaken later. Preparation rarely looks impressive. It often feels like obscurity. But obscurity is where roots grow deep. Think of a tree in winter. To the outside world, it looks lifeless. Its branches are bare. Its growth seems to have stopped. But beneath the surface, the roots are stretching further into the soil, searching for water, anchoring deeper into the earth. Winter is not punishment, it is strengthening. In the same way, your quieter seasons were not abandonment. They were fortification. There were times when you prayed for acceleration, and I answered with patience. You asked for doors to open quickly, and I responded by building endurance within you. I did this not to frustrate you, but to protect the promise I have placed over your life. If I had given you certain things too soon, the weight of them would have crushed you. So I strengthened your shoulders first. You did not see the internal transformation taking place. You only saw what seemed to be delay. But delay in my hands is never denial. It is development. It is the careful shaping of character so that when the moment arrives, you will not sabotage it with fear, insecurity, or pride. I was teaching you how to remain steady. I was teaching you how to find your worth in me rather than in outcomes. Remember the moments when you almost gave up, the days when you felt tired of hoping, yet you chose to keep going. Even if your steps were small, you kept moving. That perseverance was not insignificant. It was sacred. Each act of quiet faith was like laying another stone in the foundation of your future. You also learned compassion in those seasons. Because you tasted disappointment, you now understand the tears of others. Because you felt loneliness, you now recognize silent pain in a crowded room. These are not weaknesses. They are treasures. They have softened you without breaking you. They have made your heart resemble mine, tender yet strong. My child, growth does not always announce itself with celebration. Sometimes it comes disguised as struggle. Sometimes it hides behind questions and uncertainty. But every challenge stretched your capacity. Every obstacle increased your resilience. You are not the same person you were years ago. Even you can sense it. You respond differently now. You endure differently. You hope differently. When you look back, you may see mistakes and wish you had chosen differently. But even those moments became teachers in my hands. I did not waste them. I used them to refine your judgment, to sharpen your discernment, to guide you away from paths that would have led to harm. Nothing in your story has been outside my awareness. Not one sigh, not one silent tear. The seasons that felt so were carving out space for something lasting. You were becoming stable enough to handle blessing without losing humility. You were becoming confident enough to step forward without constant reassurance. You were becoming anchored enough to withstand storms that once would have shaken you. So do not despise those past chapters. Do not label them as lost years. They were formative years. They were sacred training grounds. They were classrooms where I personally instructed your heart. And now, as you stand at this turning point, you carry within you wisdom born from experience, strength forged in adversity, and faith refined by waiting. My beloved child, the seasons that made you were necessary. They were intentional, and they have prepared you more perfectly than you realize for the moment that is unfolding before you now. My beloved child, let me show you how even your pain positioned you. I know there are memories you still carry quietly, moments that changed you, words that cut deeper than anyone realized, doors that slammed shut so abruptly that they stole your breath. You have wondered why those wounds were allowed, why the road had to include heartbreak at all. But hear me gently now. Your pain was not meaningless. It was not proof that I left you. It was part of the shaping. Just as gold is placed into fire, not to destroy it but to purify it, you walked through heat that revealed what was real within you. The fire did not consume you. It refined you. When betrayal touched your life, it taught you discernment. When disappointment found you, it taught you endurance. When someone misunderstood you, it taught you how to stand secure without constant validation. These lessons did not feel like gifts at the time. They felt like burdens. Yet now you carry a wisdom you could not have gained any other way. There were nights when you cried, and asked me why. I did not silence your questions. I collected every tear. I was closer than you knew. Even when you felt alone in a crowded room, I was steady beside you, holding your heart together when it felt like it might break. What you saw as collapse, I was using as construction. Imagine a sculptor chiseling stone. To the stone, each strike feels harsh, unnecessary, even violent. But the sculptor sees the finished masterpiece hidden inside. Every chip that falls away is revealing something more beautiful. In the same way, the painful experiences chipped away at insecurity, false attachments, and illusions that would have limited you later. It hurt, yes, but it also unveiled strength. My child, you learned how to survive what once seemed unbearable. That is not small. You discovered that even when circumstances fell apart, you did not. You bent, but you did not break. And that resilience now lives inside you like quiet steel. Some of the pain you endured was not your fault. I want you to release the weight of self-blame. You replay conversations, wondering what you could have done differently. But there are things beyond your control. Not every loss was caused by your failure. Sometimes I allowed separation because I saw where that path would lead. Sometimes I removed what you were clinging to because I knew it would harm you in the long run. You thought certain people or opportunities were essential to your future, but I knew they were seasonal. Their departure created space. It felt like emptiness at first, but it was preparation for something more aligned with your destiny. If those earlier chapters had continued, they would have confined you to a smaller version of yourself. Even your mistakes became teachers. When you chose poorly, you learned humility. When you trusted too quickly, you learned caution. When you fell short of your own expectations, you learned grace. I did not turn away from you in those moments. I drew nearer. I whispered correction without condemnation. I guided you forward without shame. My beloved child, the pain you walked through gave you depth. It gave you empathy. It gave you the ability to understand others in ways that someone untouched by hardship never could. You now carry compassion that is authentic, not theoretical. You know what it means to rebuild. You know what it means to hope again after disappointment. And now, as you approach this new moment, you are not naive. You are not fragile in the same way you once were. You are wise. You are steadier. The very experiences you wish you could erase are the ones that prepared you to handle what is ahead with maturity and strength. Nothing you endured was outside my sight. Nothing was wasted. Every tear watered the soil of your future. Every scar tells a story of survival and growth. And now, those once painful chapters stand behind you not as evidence of defeat, but as proof that you are ready for what comes next. My beloved child, let us speak about the doors that closed. Those moments still echo in your memory. The opportunity you were certain would work out. The relationship you thought would last. The plan you carefully built that suddenly unraveled. When those doors shut, it felt personal. It felt like rejection. It felt like loss. But I need you to see those closures through my eyes. Not every closed door was a denial of your worth. Many of them were acts of protection. You were looking at what seemed beautiful from the outside, but I could see what was hidden behind it. I could see the strain it would place on your spirit. I could see the compromise it would require. I could see the quiet erosion of your joy that would have happened if you had walked through. You saw a door close. I saw a collision avoided. Think of a child who reaches for something sharp and shining. The object looks harmless, even attractive, but the parent sees the danger. When the parent pulls the child's hand away, the child may cry in confusion. The child does not understand the rescue. In the same way, when I removed certain opportunities from your path, it was not cruelty. It was care. There were positions you did not receive that would have drained your peace. There were connections that ended because they could not accompany you into your next season. There were plans that fell apart because they were built on foundations that would not hold long-term. You thought you were ready for certain environments, but they were not ready for you. And some doors closed because they were too small for who you are becoming. You were asking me to bless spaces that could not contain your growth. Had you remained there, you would have shrunk yourself to fit. You would have silenced parts of your calling to maintain comfort. So I allowed discomfort now to prevent regret later. I know the silence after a closed door can feel heavy. It can make you question your direction. It can tempt you to doubt your value. But hear me clearly. Rejection by a circumstance is not rejection by me. What did not open was simply not aligned with where I am leading you. Sometimes you stood knocking, praying, waiting for movement. You mistook persistence for faith. But true faith also trusts my restraint. When I say no, it is never to diminish you. It is to direct you. My no is as loving as my yes. You may not yet see what you were spared from. You may never fully understand the unseen dangers that were kept at bay. But one day, you will look back and thank me for doors that seemed devastating at the time. You will see how those closures rerouted you toward something better suited to your heart and purpose. Even now, consider how different you are from who you were when some of those doors closed. Imagine if they had opened. Would you have grown as deeply? Would you have discovered your resilience? Would you have sought me as sincerely? The redirection refined you. My beloved child, I do not close doors to frustrate you. I close them to funnel you toward your destiny. I guard the path ahead with care. If something leaves your life, it is because I have measured its place and found it temporary. Do not stand outside old doors wishing they would reopen. Do not romanticize what I have removed. Trust that if it were meant to remain, it would have. What is for you cannot be permanently blocked, and what is not for you cannot be forced into blessing. Lift your eyes from what did not happen. Shift your focus from what ended. The door that is meant for you will not require you to beg, shrink, or betray yourself. It will align with the growth I have built within you. My beloved child, those closed doors were not the end of your story. They were gentle hands steering you away from lesser paths and toward the one that was always prepared for you. My beloved child, let us speak about the waiting. I know how heavy it has felt. Waiting can stretch a single day into what feels like a lifetime. It can make you question whether anything is moving at all. You have looked at the calendar, watched the seasons change, and wondered why your breakthrough seemed to linger just out of reach. But waiting, in my hands, is never empty. It is sacred. You often think of waiting as standing still, as if nothing is happening. Yet some of the most important work I do is invisible to your eyes. When a seed is planted into the soil, it does not break through the surface immediately. For a time, all the growth happens underground. Roots are forming. Stability is being established. Without that hidden process, the first strong wind would uproot it. You have been growing roots. There were prayers you whispered that seemed to echo back unanswered. There were dreams you held tightly, wondering if they would ever come to life. And in those quiet stretches, I was strengthening your inner world. I was teaching you patience that does not depend on circumstances. I was teaching you trust that does not require constant proof. Waiting refines your motives. It reveals what truly matters. It strips away the urgency that comes from comparison and replaces it with steady confidence in my timing. I have never been late in your life. Not once. What feels delayed to you is often perfectly aligned from my view. If I had rushed certain answers, you would have entered them with anxious energy instead of calm assurance. If I had moved before your heart was ready, you might have handled blessing with fear instead of faith. So I allowed time to do its quiet work within you. Think of a potter shaping clay. The clay cannot harden too quickly, or it will crack under pressure. It must be shaped carefully, patiently, layer by layer. The spinning may feel repetitive. The process may seem slow, but every careful movement strengthens the final form. In the same way, I have been shaping you through repetition, through routine, through moments that seemed ordinary. You have learned to endure uncertainty. You have learned to show up even when motivation was low. You have learned to hope without immediate reward. These lessons are not small. They are pillars. They are what will allow you to sustain what is coming, not just receive it. There were days when you wanted a clear sign, a dramatic shift, something undeniable. Instead, I gave you small confirmations, quiet reassurances, subtle peace. I was teaching you to recognize my voice not in noise, but in stillness. Waiting sharpened your spiritual hearing. My beloved child, do not despise the pace of your journey. Do not rush yourself because others appear to be ahead. Your timeline is unique because your calling is unique. I am not comparing you to anyone else. I am shaping you according to the design I placed within you before you ever understood it. The waiting also built resilience. You discovered that you could survive unanswered questions. You learned that uncertainty does not equal abandonment. You found strength in simply continuing, one day at a time. That quiet perseverance is one of the greatest victories of your life. And now, as you feel movement beginning, as you sense change on the horizon, understand this. The waiting was not a pause. It was preparation. It was the strengthening of roots before visible growth. It was the steady shaping of your character so that when the moment arrives fully, you will stand firm. My beloved child, the sacred waiting has brought you to this edge. And soon, what hath been growing beneath the surface will begin to rise into the light. My beloved child, while you were waiting, you were also being strengthened. You may not have noticed it at first. Strength does not always announce itself with loud victories. Often, it forms quietly, through repetition, through endurance, through choosing to stand one more day when you felt like sitting down. There were moments when you thought you were barely holding on. You told yourself you were just surviving. But even survival builds muscle in the soul. Each time you faced disappointment and did not let it harden your heart, you grew stronger. Each time fear whispered that you were not enough and you chose to keep going anyway, you grew stronger. Each time you fell and rose again, something inside you solidified. Strength is not the absence of weakness. It is the decision to move forward despite it. Consider how physical muscles grow. They are formed through resistance. Without resistance, they remain undeveloped. The weight feels heavy in the moment. The strength feels uncomfortable. But that very tension is what produces endurance. In the same way, the resistance you encountered in your life was not there to defeat you. It was there to develop you. When circumstances pressed against you, you discovered capacities you did not know you had. You learned how to manage your emotions instead of being ruled by them. You learned how to sit with uncertainty without collapsing. You learned how to recover more quickly after setbacks. These are signs of growth, even if they felt like mere coping at the time. You are not as fragile as you once believed. There was a season when even small disruptions felt overwhelming. A single criticism could linger in your mind for days. A minor failure could shake your confidence deeply. But now, you process differently. You pause before reacting. You reflect instead of spiraling. That shift did not happen overnight. It was forged through experience, through prayer, through tears, through perseverance. My beloved child, I was building spiritual endurance within you. I was teaching you how to anchor yourself in my presence instead of in circumstances. You may not have always felt confident, but you became consistent. And consistency is a powerful strength. There were times when you felt unseen. You showed up, did your work, carried your responsibilities, yet received little recognition. But in those unnoticed efforts, integrity was forming. You were learning to do what is right even when applause was absent. That integrity is strength. It is the quiet backbone of your character. Even your struggles with doubt became training grounds. You questioned yourself. You wrestled with insecurity. Yet you did not surrender completely to despair. You kept searching for clarity. You kept reaching for me. That persistence deepened your faith. Faith that has been tested is stronger than faith that has never faced challenge. You might still feel uncertain at times. Strength does not eliminate all fear. But now, fear does not control you the way it once did. You can acknowledge it and still take a step forward. You can feel anxious and still act with courage. That is maturity. That is growth. My child, you have been strengthened for what is ahead. The weight you once could not carry now feels manageable. The challenges that once overwhelmed you now appear smaller. You have become steady. You have become resilient. And this strength is not harsh or hardened. It is balanced with compassion. You are firm, yet kind. Grounded, yet gentle. That combination is powerful. Everything that pressed against you was shaping you. Every difficulty added another layer of endurance. And now, as the moment approaches, you are not stepping into it as the same person who once trembled at every obstacle. You are stepping forward with quiet confidence, forged through resistance. My beloved child, you are stronger than you realize. And the strength I have built within you will carry you through the doors that are about to open. My beloved child, there were battles you fought that you never fully understood. You felt resistance rise up just as you were making progress. You noticed how discouragement would come suddenly, without clear reason. At times, it seemed as if the moment you decided to move forward, something tried to pull you back. And you wondered, why is it so hard? Let me tell you something gently and clearly. The battle was never proof that you were off track. Often, it was confirmation that you were moving in the right direction. When you step toward growth, resistance appears. When you begin to believe in the calling placed inside you, doubt tries to speak louder. When you prepare to enter a new season, old fears attempt one last effort to hold you still. This is not a sign of abandonment. It is the tension of transition. You mistook the struggle as a sign that you were failing. But in truth, you were advancing. Think of a traveler climbing a mountain. The higher they go, the thinner the air becomes. Breathing feels more difficult. Muscles ache. The climb requires more focus and endurance. Yet the strain is not a signal to descend. It is a natural part of ascending. In the same way, the intensity you felt was connected to elevation. There were unseen forces trying to discourage you from believing in what I planted within you. Thoughts will whisper, "You are not ready. You are not qualified. This will never change." But those whispers were not my voice. I have never spoken to you with condemnation. I guide you with clarity, not shame. And through every battle, I was shielding you more than you realized. There were dangers you never encountered because I redirected them. There were conflicts that dissolved before reaching you. There were plans formed against you that never took shape. You saw only the pressure. You did not see the protection surrounding you. Even when you felt spiritually weary, I was strengthening you in ways beyond your awareness. You were learning how to discern which thoughts aligned with truth and which did not. You were learning how to pause before reacting. You were learning how to seek peace instead of panic. These are skills that will serve you in the season ahead. My beloved child, the struggle was not against you. It was against the future you carry. When light begins to shine brighter, shadows react. When purpose begins to surface, opposition notices. But opposition does not determine outcome. I determine outcome. And I have never lost sight of you. There were moments when you felt like retreating. You considered lowering your expectations just to avoid disappointment. You thought about settling for less, simply because fighting felt exhausting. Yet something within you kept stirring. Something would not let you fully give up. That stirring was my spirit reminding you that you were built for more. You are not fragile glass, easily shattered. You are tempered steel, shaped by fire and cooled by grace. Every battle you endured has trained you to stand firmer. You now recognize when fear is trying to manipulate you. You now see patterns that once confused you. You have gained awareness. And awareness is power. Do not resent the battles. They clarified your identity. They revealed your endurance. They exposed weaknesses that needed strengthening and strengths that needed trusting. They taught you how to lean on me instead of on your own limited understanding. Now, as you sense change drawing near, understand this. The intensity you once felt is not a warning of failure. It was preparation for victory. The resistance you faced did not disqualify you. It confirmed that you carry something valuable. My beloved child, you were never fighting alone. And you are not stepping into this next moment unguarded. I have gone before you. I stand beside you. And what once felt like a battle will soon be seen as training for the blessing that is now within reach. My beloved child, I need you to release one heavy thought that has quietly followed you, the fear that you missed your chance. There have been moments when you looked back and wondered if you let something slip through your hands. You replayed decisions in your mind. You questioned timing. You asked yourself whether one different choice could have changed everything. But hear me clearly now. What is meant for you cannot be permanently lost. You may delay yourself at times. You may take detours. You may even step away from opportunities out of fear. Yet even then, I am able to redirect your path. My plans for you are not so fragile that one imperfect decision could destroy them. I am greater than your hesitation. I am wiser than your missteps. There were opportunities that passed, yes, but not all of them were destiny. Some were lessened. Some were tests of discernment. Some were glimpses meant to awaken desire within you, not to be permanent fixtures in your life. You have mistaken temporary invitations for lifelong assignments. If something truly carries your name in my design, it will circle back in the right season, where something greater will replace it. Destiny does not evaporate because of one moment of doubt. It unfolds according to my orchestration. Imagine a river flowing toward the sea. It may bend around obstacles. It may curve through valleys. It may appear to move away from its destination at times. But it never forgets where it is headed. The current continues beneath the surface, steady and determined. In the same way, your life has a current beneath it. Even when you feel uncertain, I am guiding you forward. You are not behind. You are not disqualified. You are not forgotten. The fear of missing out has tempted you to rush decisions. It has whispered that you must grasp every opportunity immediately or risk losing everything. But urgency born from fear is not my voice. I do not pressure you into panic. I lead you with peace. There were times when you said no because you were not ready, and that was wisdom, not failure. There were times when circumstances blocked your path despite your effort, and that was protection, not rejection. You have judged yourself harshly for outcomes that were never fully in your control. My beloved child, you must understand this. I am not limited by time the way you are. What feels like a narrow window to you is expansive in my hands. I can restore lost years. I can accelerate growth. I can align connections in ways that surpass what you thought was possible. You may look at others and think they moved ahead while you hesitated, but you do not see the full picture of their journey. Comparison distorts your vision. Your timeline is unique because your preparation is unique. You are not in competition. You are in formation. Let go of regret. Regret chains you to moments that have already served their purpose. Instead, trust that even your detours have added depth to your character. You have gained maturity that will help you steward what is ahead more wisely. There are doors that will open in this season that could not have opened before. Not because you were unworthy, but because you were still becoming. And now, you are standing with greater clarity. You know what aligns with your peace and what does not. You recognize red flags sooner. You trust your discernment more deeply. Nothing essential has escaped you. What was never meant to stay has fallen away. What is truly yours remains on its way. The path ahead is not closed because of your past. It is unfolding according to a design larger than your fears. My beloved child, release the thought that you missed it. The moment you are entering now is always part of your story, and everything necessary for it is aligning right on time. My beloved child, something has been forming quietly beneath the surface of your life. You may not see it clearly yet, but you can feel it. There is a subtle shift in your spirit, a gentle awareness that something is changing. The same surroundings, the same routines, yet an undercurrent of expectation has begun to rise within you. This is how turning points often begin, quietly. You may have expected a dramatic sign, something unmistakable and loud. But I often move in whispers before I move in waves. The breakthrough you long for does not always announce itself with thunder. It begins with alignment. Small pieces falling into place. Conversations that feel different. Ideas that come with clarity. A new sense of calm where anxiety once lived. Pay attention to these subtle movements. There are doors that are beginning to loosen. There are hearts that are being prepared. There are opportunities that are shifting toward you even now. You cannot see every adjustment I am making behind the scenes, but trust that I am orchestrating details beyond your reach. Think of dawn before sunrise. The sky does not change from dark to bright in a single instant. There is a gradual lightening, a soft blending of shadows into color. At first, it is barely noticeable, but then you look again and realize the darkness has already begun to retreat. That is where you are now. The night is giving way to morning, even if the sun has not fully risen. The restlessness you feel is not anxiety. It is anticipation. You have outgrown certain patterns. You have matured beyond certain limitations. Situations that once felt comfortable now feel constricting. This is not dissatisfaction for its own sake. It is growth pressing against old boundaries. You are sensing that you were made for more than where you have been standing. There may also be clarity emerging about what you no longer want. That clarity is a gift. Sometimes knowing what does not align is the first step toward recognizing what does. As I prepare to move you forward, I sharpen your discernment. I help you release attachments that would hold you back from embracing the new. Do not ignore the small confirmations, the encouraging words from unexpected places, the repeated ideas that continue to surface, the peace that settles over certain decisions. These are signals. They are gentle indicators that alignment is happening. You might still feel cautious. After all you have walked through, you have learned not to assume too quickly. But I am not asking you to rush. I am asking you to remain aware. Stay open. Stay expectant. There is also a new strength within you, a steadiness that was not there before. You are less reactive, more thoughtful, more intentional. This internal shift is part of the turning point. Before I change your external circumstances, I anchor your internal foundation. My beloved child, the turning point was not created in a single moment. It has been forming through every season you endured, every lesson you learned, every tear you cried. Now those experiences are converging. Past preparation is meeting present opportunity. Even if nothing dramatic has happened yet, trust that the atmosphere around you is changing. The weight that once felt constant is lifting. The confusion that clouded your thinking is clearing. The hesitation that held you back is loosening its grip. You are stepping into alignment. Soon, what hath been forming quietly will become visible. What hath been subtle will become undeniable. But for now, remain attentive to the shift. Do not dismiss it as imagination. It is real. It is intentional. It is the beginning of fulfillment meeting preparation. My beloved child, the turning point is no longer distant. It is unfolding even now. And you are closer than you realize to the moment everything begins to make sense. My beloved child, this is the appointed moment. Not yesterday, not someday far in the future. Now, the pieces that once seemed scattered are aligning. The lessons you learned, the strength you gained, the patience you cultivated, they are converging. You have not walked through all of that just to remain where you started. You have been prepared for this very threshold. There is a divine rhythm to your life. Seasons of planting, seasons of watering, seasons of waiting, and now a season of emergence. You may still see ordinary surroundings, but spiritually, you are standing at a doorway. The past is no longer defining you. The future is beginning to call you forward. You have asked me for clarity. You have asked me for confirmation. Let this be your confirmation. You are not behind, and you are not forgotten. The time of quiet preparation is giving way to visible movement. The internal transformation you experienced is about to meet external opportunity. This moment requires courage, but not the kind that shouts. It requires steady faith, the kind that breathes deeply and says, I trust you, even before every detail is revealed. You do not need to see the entire staircase. Just take the next step I place before you. Everything that once confused you is starting to form a pattern. Every detour now makes more sense. Every closed door guided you here. Every battle strengthened you for this. If I had brought you here sooner, you would not have recognized the significance. But now, you see with different eyes. You stand with deeper understanding. Do not minimize this moment. Do not treat it as ordinary. The shift you have sensed is real. The alignment you feel is intentional. I am breathing upon your circumstances. I am awakening dormant dreams. I am restoring confidence that was once shaken. My beloved child, Step forward without shrinking. This is not the time to question your worth. It is the time to remember who walks with you. I go before you. I stand beside you. I uphold you. What unfolds from here will not be random. It will be the continuation of a carefully written story. You have reached the place where preparation meets opportunity, where faith meets fulfillment, where endurance meets reward. And as you stand here, know that I am pleased with the perseverance you have shown. You did not give up. You did not surrender your hope. And now, you are ready to receive what I have prepared. And as you feel this holy shift, listen closely, my beloved child. When you respond to this message and choose to help it reach others, you are not supporting a platform. You are sowing light into souls who are still waiting in darkness. As it is written, I say to you, give, and it shall be given unto you, pressed down, shaken together, and running over. When you release your seed, I multiply its harvest beyond what your eyes can see. If your heart is stirred right now, that is my invitation moving within you. Do not delay when I call you to act. Through Super Thanks membership, where the PayPal link placed in the description and even shown in the QR code before you, you become a vessel through which my word flows like a river. Every gift becomes oil for the lamp, fire for the altar, bread for the hungry spirit. This is not a transaction. It is a prophetic act of obedience. As you give, I bless the work of your hands and open windows you did not know were closed. Let your generosity echo the very faith I am awakening in you. Step into this moment and so. My beloved child, now that you know the moment is here, I am asking you to step forward without fear. Not because fear will never whisper again, but because it no longer has authority over you. Fear may speak, but it does not command. It may knock, but it does not own the door. You have waited for confidence to feel complete before moving. You told yourself, when I feel fully ready, then I will act. But readiness is not a feeling. It is a decision. Courage is not the absence of trembling. It is movement despite it. And you, my child, are more ready than you realize. There was a time when even small steps felt overwhelming. You would analyze every possibility, imagining what could go wrong. Your mind would race ahead of you, building scenarios that drained your peace. But now, you have learned something powerful. You have learned that overthinking does not secure your future. Trust does. You do not need every answer before you begin. I rarely reveal the entire path at once. If I did, you might depend on the map more than on me. Instead, I illuminate one step at a time. Yes, enough for today. Just enough to keep you anchored in faith rather than control. Think of a child learning to walk. At first, the steps are unsteady. There is wobbling. They are falls. But the child does not wait for perfection before trying again. They rise, they adjust, they try once more. And with each attempt, strength grows. In the same way, I am not expecting flawless execution from you. I'm inviting faithful movement. You fear making mistakes. But even mistakes, when your heart is sincere, become lessons in my hands. I am able to redirect you gently. I am able to course correct without condemnation. What I cannot guide is a heart that refuses to move at all. Forward motion opens the door for my direction. There are ideas stirring within you, nudges you have sensed, conversations you know you need to have, opportunities you feel drawn toward but hesitate to pursue. Do not dismiss these promptings. They are not random. They are invitations. You have spent enough time doubting your ability. You have rehearsed your limitations long enough. Now it is time to rehearse my promises instead. I have not brought you this far to abandon you at the threshold. I do not awaken dreams just to mock you with them. If the vision is growing clearer, it is because provision is growing nearer. My beloved child, the step before you may seem small. It may not look dramatic. But obedience in small things unlocks greater doors. Do not wait for applause. Do not wait for unanimous support from others. Some will understand your movement. Some will not. But their understanding is not the requirement. Your trust is. I am not asking you to leap blindly. I am asking you to walk with me consciously, to breathe deeply and take the next faithful action, to speak when you once stayed silent, to apply when you once hesitated, to release what you once clung to out of fear. There will be moments when your old doubts attempt to resurface. When they do, remind yourself of the strength I have already built within you. Remember the battles you survived, the waiting you endured, the doors that closed for your protection. You are not stepping forward as the same uncertain person you once were. You are stepping forward seasoned by experience, strengthened by resistance, anchored by faith. My beloved child, do not shrink back now. This is not the time to retreat into comfort. It is the time to rise into calling. I am walking beside you with every step. Trust my leading. Trust the growth within you. And move. My beloved child, as you step forward, I need you to trust what I have already placed inside you. You have spent so much time looking outward for confirmation that you sometimes forget the quiet gifts I planted within your own heart. You asked for signs around you, while the compass has been resting within you all along. I did not create you empty. I formed you with intention. The desires that continue to return, the ideas that stir your imagination, the compassion you feel for certain needs, these are not accidents. They are clues. They are seeds of purpose. And they have been growing quietly, even when you doubted their value. There were times when you compared yourself to others and felt lacking. You noticed their strengths and minimized your own. You saw their confidence and questioned your capacity. But comparison distorts perspective. You are not meant to carry their design. You are meant to carry yours. What I placed inside you may not look loud. It may not demand attention. But it is steady. It is persistent. It continues to nudge you forward even when you try to ignore it. That persistence is not random ambition. It is calling. Trust your discernment. Over the years, I have sharpened it through experience. You now sense when something aligns with your peace and when it unsettles your spirit. That internal signal is not weakness. It is wisdom. When you feel calm clarity about a step, pay attention. When you feel deep unrest, pause and seek me again. You often ask, what if I am wrong? My beloved child, if your heart is sincere and you seek me honestly, I will guide you. Even if you take a step that is not perfect, I am able to redirect you gently. I do not watch you from a distance, waiting for you to fail. I walk with you, adjusting your course as needed. There is creativity within you that you have not fully explored. There is leadership within you that you have hesitated to express. There is courage within you that has been growing stronger with every challenge you faced. Stop underestimating what I have formed in you. Think of a craftsman who spends years shaping a tool. The tool may sit unused for a time, but that does not mean it lacks purpose. When the moment comes, it is exactly what is needed. In the same way, your skills, your experiences, your personality, even your past struggles have shaped you into someone uniquely equipped for this season. You do not need to become someone else to step into what is ahead. You need to embrace who you already are becoming. Release the belief that you must transform into a completely different person before you are worthy of opportunity. Growth has already taken place. Maturity has already formed. Strength has already been built. My beloved child, silence the voice that tells you that you are not enough. That voice is not mine. I have called you capable. I have called you prepared. I have called you chosen. Not because you are flawless, but because you are willing. The gifts within you are not for you alone. They are meant to bless others. The compassion you carry is meant to comfort. The wisdom you gain through hardship is meant to guide. The resilience you develop is meant to inspire. Trust that what I have placed inside you has purpose beyond what you currently see. As you move forward, listen to that steady inner conviction. Not the loud noise of fear, but the quiet assurance of alignment. I am speaking to you there. I am guiding you there. I am reminding you that you were not randomly assembled. You were intentionally designed. My beloved child, trust the compass within. Trust the growth you have experienced. Trust the calling that continues to stir. What I placed inside you is enough for the step before you. And as you use it faithfully, you will discover that it was always more than you imagined. My beloved child, there is something you must release if you are to fully step into this new moment. You must let go of the old identity you have been carrying, the labels you accepted during seasons of pain, the quiet narratives you formed about yourself when things did not go as planned. Those definitions may have helped you survive once, but they cannot guide you where you are going now. You are not the person you were in your lowest chapter. Yet sometimes you still speak about yourself as if you are. You replay old failures in your mind and let them shape how you see your present. You introduce yourself internally with outdated descriptions. I am the one who messed up. I am the one who was rejected. I am the one who almost made it. My beloved child, those are moments in your story. They are not your name. There was a time when insecurity clung tightly to you and told you to shrink. It told you to stay quiet so you would not be criticized. It told you to avoid risk so you would not feel disappointment again. And for a season, that caution protected your wounded heart. But now it is limiting your growth. You cannot walk boldly into a new season while wearing the identity of your old pain. Imagine a butterfly still trying to crawl as if it were a caterpillar. The transformation has already happened, yet the memory of the ground keeps it from using its wings. In the same way, you have been transformed by experience, by healing, by growth. But sometimes you still cling to the habits of a former version of yourself. I am calling you to see yourself as I see you now. You are not defined by the mistake you regret. You are not defined by the relationship that ended. You are not defined by the opportunity that slipped away. You are defined by resilience, by perseverance, by the courage that kept you moving when quitting would have been easier. Even your weaknesses have been reshaped. Where you once reacted impulsively, you now pause. Where you once doubted constantly, you now question your doubt. Where you once feared rejection, you now value authenticity more than approval. This is growth. This is renewal. My beloved child, stop introducing yourself to your future using your past identity. There are rooms you will enter that require confidence. Not arrogance, but quiet assurance. If you carry shame into those spaces, it will distort your posture. It will silence your voice. It will make you second-guess opportunities that were meant for you. But if you step in knowing that you have been refined, strengthened, and guided, your presence will be steady. Forgive yourself for who you were still becoming. You did the best you could with the understanding you had at the time. You have learned since then. You have matured. You have grown in wisdom. Holding yourself hostage to an earlier version of you does not honor the transformation I have worked within you. This new season requires a new self-perception. See yourself as capable. See yourself as worthy of good things. See yourself as someone who has endured and emerged wiser. When doubts attempt to remind you of old failures, gently remind them that you are not standing in that chapter anymore. I have already written growth into your story. My beloved child, release the old labels. Lay them down. They no longer fit. They were garments for a different season. Now you are clothed in resilience, discernment, and quiet strength. Walk forward as the person you have become, not as the person you once were. The identity you embrace today will shape the opportunities you are willing to accept tomorrow. And I am calling you higher. My beloved child, as you release the old identity, there is another weight I gently ask you to lay down, the weight of unforgiveness. Not because I dismiss what happened to you, not because the pain was small, but because carrying bitterness into your future will quietly drain the joy I am trying to place there. There are moments in your story that still sting when you remember them. Words spoken carelessly, promises broken, trust misplaced. You may have told yourself that you moved on, yet sometimes the memory resurfaces with the same sharpness. And in those moments, your heart tightens again. I understand why. What happened mattered. What you felt was real. I do not minimize your wounds. But I also see how holding on to anger has exhausted you. It keeps you tethered to people and circumstances that are no longer present. It pulls your attention backward when I am calling you forward. Forgiveness is not pretending the pain did not exist. It is choosing not to let it control your present. Imagine clenching your fist tightly around a stone. At first, it feels manageable, but over time, your hand grows tired. Your muscles ache. Your grip restricts movement. When you finally release the stone, your hand is free again. The stone does not disappear from history, but it no longer occupies your strength. That is what forgiveness does. My beloved child, forgiveness is freedom for you. Some who hurt you may never apologize. Some may never fully understand the depth of the impact they had on your life. Waiting for their acknowledgement keeps you suspended. But your healing does not depend on their awareness. It depends on your willingness to release. You may fear that forgiving means approving what was done. It does not. Forgiveness is not agreement. It is surrender. It is placing justice in my hands instead of trying to carry it alone. I am capable of seeing clearly. I am capable of balancing what feels unfair. You do not need to be the judge and the wounded at the same time. There are also places where you must forgive yourself. You replay conversations where you wish you had spoken differently. You revisit decisions you regret. You blame yourself for not knowing what you know now. But growth always comes with hindsight. You cannot hold your past self to the standards of your present wisdom. Extend to yourself the same grace you long to receive from others. As you step into this new season, your heart must remain open. If it stays guarded by old resentment, you will struggle to receive new joy. If it remains hardened by past disappointment, it will struggle to trust new beginnings. I am not asking you to forget. I am asking you to heal. Healing is gradual. It may come in layers. Some days you will feel free, and other days old emotions may resurface. When they do, bring them to me. Do not hide them. Speak honestly. Let me steady your heart again. My beloved child, you deserve peace. Not the fragile peace that depends on everyone behaving perfectly, but the deep peace that rests in trust. When you forgive, you are not saying the past was acceptable. You are declaring that it no longer defines your future. There is so much ahead of you that requires a light heart, opportunities that require openness, relationships that require vulnerability, joy that requires space. Lay down the stone. Release the tight grip. Step forward with hands that are open again. I'm healing you layer by layer. And as you forgive, you will feel the freedom of walking unburdened into the moment that has been prepared for you. My beloved child, know that your heart is becoming lighter. I want you to lift your vision higher. For too long, you have been looking at your life from ground level, measuring everything by what you can immediately see. You have evaluated your progress by visible results, by timelines, by comparisons. But I am inviting you to see from a different perspective. When you stand too close to a painting, you only notice brushstrokes. They may look messy, unclear, random. But when you step back, the full image begins to form. In the same way, when you focus only on daily frustrations, you miss the larger design I am creating. You have asked me, where is this going? And I have heard you. The truth is, if you could see the full landscape of your future right now, it would overwhelm you. Not because it is frightening, but because it is expansive. I'm doing more than solving immediate problems. I am shaping legacy. I'm aligning connections. I am preparing influence that stretches beyond what you currently imagine. Your current circumstances are not your final horizon. Yes, there are responsibilities in front of you. Yes, there are limitations that feel real. But those are chapters, not conclusions. You must stop defining your potential by your present environment. Seeds do not look like forests, yet forests are hidden within them. My beloved child, expand your expectation. You have grown accustomed to hoping carefully, almost cautiously, to protect yourself from disappointment. You lower your expectations so that if something does not happen, it hurts less. But cautious hope also limits joy. I am not asking you to ignore reality. I am asking you to trust that reality can change. Look beyond the immediate, beyond the current job, the current routine, the current struggle. Ask me to show you what could be. Ask me to align your imagination with my intention. When your vision rises, your courage follows. There are dreams you quietly buried because they seemed too large, too unrealistic, too far removed from your present life. Yet those dreams did not originate from nowhere. They were planted in you for a reason. Some may need refining. Some may take different shapes than you expected. But do not dismiss them simply because they appear distant. Distance does not equal impossibility. You must also lift your vision regarding yourself. See yourself not as someone barely surviving, but as someone capable of thriving. See yourself as someone who can lead, create, build, heal, influence. When you view yourself through the lens of past struggle, your outlook narrows. When you view yourself through the lens of growth, your horizon widens. My beloved child, I am not limited by what limits you. What seems complex to you is simple in my hands. What feels delayed to you is perfectly timed from my perspective. When you feel surrounded by walls, I see pathways. When you see scarcity, I see provision in motion. But you must allow your faith to stretch. Faith is not pretending challenges do not exist. It is believing they do not have the final word. It is lifting your eyes above the immediate terrain and trusting that there is more beyond the hill you are currently climbing. The moment you are entering requires expanded vision. If your perspective remains small, you may miss the magnitude of what is unfolding. If your expectations remain low, you may settle for less than what I prepared. Lift your gaze. Lift your thoughts. Lift your belief. My beloved child, there is more ahead of you than behind you. The struggles you survived were not the highlight of your story, they were the preparation. The waiting you endured was not the pinnacle, it was the groundwork. See beyond this moment. Trust beyond what you see, and allow your vision to rise to meet the future that is quietly unfolding before you. My beloved child, there are prayers you prayed that you have almost forgotten. Words whispered through tears. Hope spoken in the quiet of night. Requests made when your heart felt heavy and uncertain. You released them to me, and as time passed without visible change, you tucked them away in the corners of your memory. But I did not forget them. Every prayer you have spoken had been heard. Not one has dissolved into emptiness. Some were answered quickly. Others required time, alignment, preparation, and some are being answered now in ways you may not immediately recognize. You asked for growth. I gave you challenges that stretched you. You asked for strength. I gave you circumstances that build endurance. You asked for clarity. I allowed confusion to refine your discernment. The answers did not always look like what you imagined, but they were answers nonetheless. There are also prayers that seem delayed, not denied. You once asked for open doors, meaningful work, deeper connection, healing from wounds you did not know how to articulate. You wondered if those requests were too much. You questioned whether you were asking beyond what was realistic. My beloved child, your prayers were never too much for me. Sometimes the distance between your request and its fulfillment is filled with preparation. If I had granted certain desires at the moment you first asked, you might not have been ready to steward them well. So I shaped your character first. I strengthened your heart. I deepened your wisdom. Think of a builder constructing a house. The foundation must be secure before the walls rise. If the structure is rushed, cracks form later. In the same way, I have been strengthening your foundation before placing new responsibility in your hands. There are answers approaching that will feel familiar, almost as if they are returning from a long journey. You may suddenly recognize that what is unfolding aligns with something you once prayed for. You may realize that an opportunity mirrors a hope you thought had faded. When that recognition comes, do not dismiss it as coincidence. I have been working behind the scenes. Connections are being aligned. Timing is being coordinated. Details are being arranged beyond your awareness. Just because you cannot see the movement does not mean there is none. Some of my greatest works in your life have happened quietly. Do not let discouragement convince you that your prayers were ignored. Even the ones that remain unanswered are part of a larger design. Sometimes I reshape the request because I see what would truly bring you fulfillment. Sometimes I redirect the desire because I know what would protect your peace. My beloved child, hope again. Let your heart open to expectancy. Not desperate longing, but calm anticipation. Trust that what is meant for you is not lost in delay. Trust that the seeds you planted in prayer are beginning to sprout beneath the surface. You have grown since you first made those requests. Your perspective has matured. Your understanding has expanded. Now, when the answers come, you will recognize them with greater clarity. And if certain prayers are answered differently than you imagined, do not assume disappointment. Often, my responses exceed your original vision. You asked for a single door. I may provide a hallway. You asked for relief. I may bring transformation. My beloved child, I remember every word you spoke to me. I hold your hopes carefully. And as you step into this new season, you will begin to see that what once felt forgotten hath been forming all along. The prayers you thought were suspended are moving. The desires you placed in my hands are being shaped. And soon, you will look around and realize that what is unfolding before you carries the echo of conversations you once had with me in the quiet. My beloved child, there is something I must gently correct within your heart. You have quietly believed that you are behind. You look at others and measure your progress against theirs. You see milestones they have reached, accomplishments they display, relationships they celebrate, and you wonder why your path has unfolded differently. But you are not behind. Comparison has distorted your vision. It has made you believe that life moves along a single timeline, that there is a universal schedule everyone must follow. But I did not design your journey as a copy of anyone else's. Your calling is unique. Your preparation is specific. Your timing is intentional. Think of the sun rays. It does not appear at the exact same moment in every place. In one city, the sky is already bright, while in another, darkness still lingers. Yet both are moving toward daylight. Neither is late. They are simply positioned differently. In the same way, your life is unfolding according to its own horizon. You have experienced delays that others did not. You have taken detours that were necessary for your growth. You have walked through lessons that refined you deeply. Those experiences may have lengthened your timeline, but they enriched your foundation. If you had received certain blessings earlier, you might have lacked the wisdom to steward them. If you had achieved certain milestones sooner, you might have built them on unstable ground. What feels like slowness to you was stability in my design. My beloved child, stop measuring your worth by someone else's progress. You do not see the private struggles behind their visible success. You do not know the full weight they carry, and they do not carry your specific calling. When you compare, you diminish the beauty of your own journey. There is no universal clock you must beat. There is no race you must win. You are not competing for favor. You already have my love fully and freely. Nothing about your timeline reduces your value. You may feel that certain milestones should have happened by now. You may have imagined a different picture for this stage of your life. And it is natural to grieve expectations that did not unfold as planned. But do not confuse a different path with a failed one. The path you are on has shaped resilience. It has developed depth. It has created perspective. Those qualities will matter far more in the long run than early achievement. Consider a tree that grows slowly but steadily. Its roots sink deep. Its trunk thickens over time. When storms come, it stands firm. Another tree may grow quickly, tall and impressive, but without depth. It struggles when pressure rises. You have been growing deep. My beloved child, depth is not delay. It is preparation. There are blessings that are more meaningful because of the waiting. There are opportunities that will be handled with greater maturity because of the lessons you learned. When they arrive, you will appreciate them differently. You will steward them carefully. Release the pressure to catch up. You are exactly where you need to be for this moment. Every season before this one has brought you here with intentional precision. Trust that what is unfolding in your life is not late. It is aligned. And as you step into what is ahead, you will begin to see that the timing you once questioned was actually protecting and preparing you. You will look back and realize that you were never behind. You were simply being shaped in a way that required patience. My beloved child, your journey is not a race. It is a story, and I am writing it with care. My beloved child, I know there have been moments when you looked at your past and felt a quiet ache over what you thought was lost time. Years that seemed unproductive. Seasons that felt stagnant. Opportunities that passed while you were still healing, still learning, still waiting. You have wondered if those years can ever be restored. Let me speak peace into that fear. I am able to restore what you believe was lost. Time in my hands is not wasted simply because it did not look the way you expected. What you call lost years were not empty. They were formative. They were building strength, shaping character, deepening understanding. They were creating in you a maturity that will multiply the value of what comes next. You see gaps. I see groundwork. There were seasons when you felt hidden, unseen, even overlooked. You thought life was moving forward for everyone else while you remained in a quiet chapter. But beneath that stillness, roots were stretching. Wisdom was forming. Discernment was sharpening. You were becoming someone capable of sustaining greater blessing. Imagine a farmer who waits patiently for harvest. There is a long stretch where the field appears unchanged. Nothing visible seems to happen. Yet beneath the soil, growth is unfolding. When harvest comes, it often exceeds what seemed possible during the silent season. My beloved child, the harvest you are approaching carries restoration within it. There are opportunities ahead that will move swiftly. Doors that will open in ways that surprise you. Favor that will feel accelerated compared to the waiting you endured. You will look back and realize that what felt delayed was simply preparing you for a season of momentum. Restoration does not always mean repeating what was lost. Sometimes it means receiving something greater in its place. Sometimes it means a deeper peace, a clearer purpose, a more aligned path than you would have chosen for yourself years ago. You may think, if only I had known then what I know now. But that knowledge could not have existed without the journey. The insight you now carry was earned through experience, and that experience cannot be replicated through shortcuts. I do not measure your life by how quickly you achieved certain milestones. I measure it by growth, by transformation, by the resilience you develop, and by that measure, you have not fallen behind. My beloved child, I am not limited by the calendar. What feels late to you can become powerful in its timing. What feels like a missed window can become a perfectly aligned entrance. I have ways of weaving together seasons so that nothing truly valuable is lost. There will be moments ahead when you recognize restoration happening. When something you thought was permanently gone is replaced with unexpected blessing. When joy returns in areas that once felt empty. When confidence rises where insecurity once lingered. And when that happens, remember this: the waiting was not punishment. The slow years were not wasted. They were the soil from which restoration would grow. Lift your head. Release regret. Do not cling to the narrative of lost time. Instead, embrace the truth that I am able to redeem, renew, and restore. My beloved child, what lies ahead will not merely compensate for what you think you lost. It will reveal that I was shaping something deeper all along. And you will see that even the quiet years were guiding you toward this season of renewed purpose and restored hope. My beloved child, now that you understand restoration is unfolding, I must gently urge you, do not shrink back now. You have come too far to retreat into old patterns. You have grown too much to settle for the comfort of familiar limitations. There is a subtle temptation that arises just before breakthrough. It whispers, stay where it feels safe. Do not risk disappointment again. Do not stretch beyond what you can control. And after everything you have endured, that whisper can sound reasonable. It can sound protective. But shrinking back will not protect you. It will confine you. You have prayed for change. You have asked for movement. You have longed for new beginnings. Yet when the door begins to open, fear sometimes makes you hesitate at the threshold. You question whether you are truly ready. You wonder if stepping forward will expose you to new pain. My beloved child, growth always requires movement beyond comfort. Comfort zones feel secure because they are familiar. Even if they are small, at least you know their boundaries. But what I am leading you into cannot be experienced from within old limits. It requires courage. Not reckless courage, but faithful courage. Think of a bird perched on the edge of a branch. The branch feels steady. No, reliable. But if the bird never spreads its wings, it will never discover the strength built into its design. The air may feel uncertain, but the wings were created for it. You were not created to remain confined by past fear. There will be moments ahead when doubt attempts to resurface. It may remind you of previous disappointments. It may replay old failures in your mind. It may suggest that trying again is too risky. But those memories are chapters, not prophecies. You are not the same person you were when those setbacks occurred. You are wiser now, stronger, more discerning. The version of you stepping forward today carries lessons that your past self did not have. Do not sabotage your own progress by expecting failure before you begin. Do not withdraw from opportunities because they stretch you. If the path aligns with peace and purpose, trust that I am guiding you. My beloved child, boldness does not mean you will never feel nervous. It means you move despite the nerves. It means you choose faith over hesitation. It means you trust that I am able to sustain you even if challenges arise. You have already survived difficulty. You have already endured waiting. You have already faced rejection and grown through it. Why would you assume that the next step will destroy you? The resilience within you is evidence that you can handle more than you think. The season you are entering requires participation. I will open doors, but you must walk through them. I will provide opportunities, but you must say yes. I will place favor before you, but you must step into it without shrinking. Do not let false humility hold you back. There is a difference between humility and self-doubt. Humility recognizes that your strength comes from me. Self-doubt questions whether you deserve to stand where I have placed you. You are allowed to rise. You are allowed to grow. You are allowed to accept the blessings that come without apologizing for them. My beloved child, this is not the time to retreat into smaller dreams. It is not the time to lower your expectations. It is the time to stand upright, shoulders steady, heart open. You have walked through preparation. You have endured refinement. Now do not step backward out of habit. Step forward. I am with you in this movement, and what awaits you cannot be experienced from a distance. My beloved child, as you continue stepping forward, I want you to recognize something important. Your faith is already producing fruit. You may not see a full harvest yet. You may not hold the complete manifestation in your hands. But do not mistake partial visibility for absence. Growth has been happening. Fruit does not appear the day after a seed is planted. There is a process. First, the seed breaks open beneath the soil. Then a small shoot emerges, fragile but alive. Over time, it strengthens, stretches, and eventually bears fruit. You are in that unfolding process now. Every time you chose to trust instead of quit, that was a seed sprouting. Every time you forgave instead of hardening your heart, that was a branch extending. Every time you resisted shrinking back and instead took a step forward, that was fruit forming. You have been measuring progress by dramatic change, but I measure it by transformation within you. Look at how your reactions have shifted. You do not panic as quickly as you once did. You pause. You reflect. You pray. That is fruit. Look at how your perspective has matured. Situations that once felt catastrophic now feel manageable. That is fruit. Look at how your heart remains open despite past disappointment. That is fruit. My beloved child, do not overlook small growth because you are waiting for something larger. The enemy of gratitude is impatience. Impatience tells you that what is present is not enough, but gratitude recognizes the evidence of progress. When you acknowledge the fruit already forming, you align your heart with expectancy rather than frustration. You may be tempted to compare your harvest to someone else's. You may look at their visible success and feel yours is too small. But fruit grows at different rates. Some seasons produce abundance quickly. Others require longer development. Both are valuable. I am not rushing your harvest. There is also fruit you cannot see yet. Seeds planted through quiet obedience are growing beneath the surface. The encouragement you offered someone may return in an unexpected way. The discipline you practiced in private may open doors in public. The patience you developed may prepare you for opportunities that require steadiness. Nothing you have done in faith has been wasted. Even the days when you felt unsure but kept moving forward anyway have added to this growth. Even when your faith felt fragile, you held on to it. That persistence has weight in the unseen realm. My beloved child, sometimes the final stage before harvest feels the slowest. You can see that something is forming, but it is not yet complete. This is where endurance matters most. Do not uproot what is growing simply because you are eager to taste the fruit. Trust the process. Continue watering your faith with gratitude. Continue nourishing your vision with hope. Continue protecting your peace from doubt that tries to invade. There will come a moment when what has been forming becomes undeniable. When breakthrough is not subtle but visible. When you look back and realize how far you have come. But until then, remain steady. The fruit of patience, resilience, wisdom, and courage is already evident in you. These are not small achievements. They are the foundation of lasting success. My beloved child, your faith is not empty. It is active. It is producing. It is shaping your future even now. Do not grow weary in the middle of growth. The harvest is closer than you think, and what you are cultivating through trust will nourish you in the seasons ahead. My beloved child, there is a door before you that no one will be able to shut. You have experienced doors closing in the past, and those memories sometimes make you cautious. You wonder if what begins well might end abruptly again. You hesitate to fully hope because you fear another disappointment. But what I am opening in this season carries my authority. When I open a door, it is not dependent on human approval alone. It is not sustained by fragile circumstances. It is aligned with purpose. And when something is aligned with my purpose for you, opposition may arise, but it will not prevail. You have seen how easily certain opportunities slip away before. A conversation changed. A decision was made without you. A plan dissolved. Those doors were never anchored in my full intention for your life. They were temporary passages, not permanent pathways. The door I am opening now is different. It may begin quietly. It may not look impressive at first glance, but there will be a sense of peace surrounding it, a steadiness, a confirmation in your spirit that this is not forced. You will not need to beg for entry. You will not need to compromise your values to remain inside. My beloved child, when something is meant for you, it will align without you shrinking to fit it. There may still be challenges within this new opportunity. Do not mistake challenge for closure. Growth always includes stretching, but stretching within the right environment strengthens you rather than diminishing you. You have spent seasons knocking on doors that were not meant to open. You prayed, you tried, you adjusted yourself to meet expectations that were never designed for you. That striving exhausted you. But this next door will not require you to perform for worthiness. It will recognize who you are becoming. There may be voices that question your advancement. There may be subtle resistance from those who are uncomfortable with your growth. But their discomfort does not determine your destiny. I am the one who establishes your steps. When you walk through this door, walk with confidence, not arrogance. Confidence rooted in trust. Know that you did not force this opening. You did not manipulate circumstances to create it. You prepared, you endured, you grew. And now, alignment is meeting readiness. My beloved child, do not sabotage what I open by carrying fear from what I closed. Each season is distinct. The lessons from past closures were preparation for sustainable opportunity. You are not stepping into this as the same uncertain person who once doubted every move. You are stepping in with maturity, discernment, and resilience. Even if others do not immediately understand your path, trust that I do. I see the connections forming. I see the influence expanding. I see the impact rippling outward from this single step. The door before you is not random. It is the result of preparation meeting timing. Walk through it without apology. Remain humble, but do not diminish yourself. Remain teachable, but do not question your right to be there. You belong where I place you. My beloved child, what I open carries provision with it. It carries growth. It carries purpose. And though obstacles may attempt to test your resolve, they will not undo what has been established by my hand. Step forward. The door is open, and no one can permanently shut what I have chosen to unfold in your life. My beloved child, as you walk through the door I have opened, I want you to carry yourself with the awareness of who you are. Walk as one who is chosen. Not chosen in pride, not elevated above others, but chosen with intention. There is a difference. You have often walked through life trying not to take up too much space. You have minimized your voice. You have downplayed your gifts. You have hesitated to fully own your growth because you feared appearing arrogant or misunderstood. But humility does not require invisibility. You were not created to shrink. There is a quiet dignity that belongs to you. It does not shout. It does not boast. It simply stands steady. It knows that worth is not earned through perfection but given through love. And my love for you has never been conditional. When you understand that you are chosen, you stop chasing validation. You stop bending yourself into shapes that earn temporary approval. You stop over-explaining your worth. You begin to move with calm assurance, rooted not in performance, but in identity. My beloved child, you are not random. You are not an accident of circumstance. You were designed with care. Your personality, your strengths, even your sensitivities are intentional. The experiences you walk through have refined you, not disqualified you. Walk into new spaces remembering that you belong there. There will be moments when insecurity tries to resurface. It may whisper that others are more qualified, that someone else could do it better, that you are merely fortunate to be present. But that whisper is not truth. You are present because you prepared. You endured. You grew. And I guided you. Think of royalty who forgets their crown. They may live timidly, uncertain of their authority. But once they remember who they are, their posture changes. Not because they seek dominance, but because they understand responsibility. In the same way, When you remember your identity, you move with steadiness. Being chosen does not mean life will be effortless. It means you are entrusted with purpose. It means your life carries meaning beyond convenience. It means your presence in certain spaces is not accidental. My beloved child, hold your head high, not in arrogance, but in gratitude. There is a light within you that others will notice. It is the light of perseverance, the light of kindness refined by hardship, the light of wisdom born from experience. You do not need to dim it to make others comfortable. At the same time, remain grounded. Remember that your strength flows from me. Remember that your opportunities are gifts, not guarantees. Walk with gratitude and confidence intertwined. You have underestimated yourself long enough. You have spoken cautiously about your potential. You have qualified your dreams with doubt. Now, step fully into the identity I have shaped within you. When you speak, speak clearly. When you act, act decisively. When you lead, lead with compassion. When you serve, serve with joy. Do not apologize for existing in the fullness of who you are becoming. My beloved child, the world does not need a smaller version of you. It needs the healed, strengthened, courageous version that has emerged through refinement. Walk as one chosen, not because you are better than others, but because you are called for something specific, and that calling deserves your full presence. Stand tall, stand steady, and remember whose you are as you step into what is unfolding before you. My beloved child, as you rise into this new awareness of who you are, there is something else you must learn to guard carefully: your peace. The higher you climb, the louder the noise around you can become. Opinions will surround you. Expectations will press in. Advice will come from many directions. Not all of it will be aligned with where I am leading you. You must learn to silence the noise. There is a difference between wise counsel and distracting chatter. Wise counsel brings clarity and calm. Distracting chatter brings confusion and urgency. When you listen to too many voices at once, your inner compass becomes clouded. You begin to question what you once knew clearly. My beloved child, your peace is a signal. When you feel steady within, even if circumstances are complex, that is alignment. When you feel persistent unease that does not match your values, that is a sign to pause. But if you allow external noise to drown out that signal, you will struggle to discern the right path. You have spent years strengthening your inner awareness. Do not abandon it now. There will be those who project their fears onto you. They may warn you about risks they would never take. They may question your decisions because they do not understand your calling. Their concerns may come from care, but they are not always confirmation. Learn to filter what you hear. You do not need to respond to every opinion. You do not need to defend every choice. You do not need to explain your entire vision to those who are not assigned to walk it with you. Silence is not weakness. It is wisdom. Think of a lighthouse standing by the sea. Storms may rage. Winds may howl. Waves may crash loudly against the rocks. But the lighthouse remains steady, its light unwavering. It does not chase the waves. It does not argue with the wind. It simply stands firm in its purpose. You must become like that lighthouse. There will be moments when doubt attempts to creep in through the voices of others. You may begin to question whether you misheard me, whether you misjudge your readiness. When that happens, return to stillness. Step away from the noise. Seek me quietly. In stillness, clarity returns. You have noticed how often your best decisions were made in calm reflection rather than emotional urgency. That pattern is not accidental. I speak most clearly when your heart is steady. My beloved child, guard your attention. What you consistently listen to shapes your perception. If you feed on criticism, you will begin to see yourself through that lens. If you feed on fear, you will expect failure. But if you anchor yourself in truth, encouragement, and wisdom, your confidence will remain grounded. This does not mean isolating yourself completely. Community is valuable. Counsel is important. But discernment must guide what you internalize. When you feel overwhelmed by competing voices, step back. Breathe. Ask yourself what aligns with peace, integrity, and growth. My guidance does not create chaos in your spirit. It may stretch you, but it will not confuse you. My beloved child, you cannot hear the whisper of direction if you constantly surround yourself with noise. Protect your quiet moments. Protect your focus. Protect the clarity that has been forming within you. The path ahead requires attentiveness, and attentiveness requires silence. Stand steady like the lighthouse. Let the waves crash if they must. Let opinions swirl around you, but remain anchored. In quietness, you will recognize my voice, and in recognizing it, you will move forward with confidence, untouched by the noise that once unsettled you. My beloved child, the shift you have been sensing is not imaginary. It is happening now. You may not yet see the full manifestation, but you can feel the atmosphere changing. What once felt heavy is lifting. What once felt stagnant is beginning to move. The air around your life is different. This is the hour of transition. Transitions are rarely loud at first. They begin internally. A new confidence forms. Old fears lose their grip. Desires that once felt distant begin to feel reachable. You may notice that your reactions are different. Situations that once strained you no longer hold the same power. Conversations that once intimidated you now feel manageable. This is evidence of the shift. You are no longer the person who began this journey. You have been refined, strengthened, clarified, and now that internal transformation is preparing to meet external change. There may be moments when you feel both excitement and uncertainty at the same time. That is natural. When something new begins, the familiar fades. Even if the familiar was limiting, it was known. Stepping into something greater can feel disorienting at first, but do not retreat. The shift requires your cooperation. It requires your willingness to act differently, to speak differently, to believe differently. If you respond to new opportunity with old fear, you will slow the momentum. But if you respond with faith, the movement will increase. My beloved child, let go of the expectation that change must arrive dramatically. Sometimes it comes through subtle decisions. A new habit formed, a courageous conversation initiated, a boundary set, a risk taken. Each small joy strengthened the shift. You have already noticed that certain doors are loosening. Certain connections feel more aligned. Certain ideas feel more urgent. These are not coincidences. They are pieces of a larger unfolding. Stay attentive. When the wind begins to change direction, a sailor adjusts the sails. The sailor does not command the wind, but they respond to it. In the same way, you cannot control every circumstance, but you can adjust your posture. Adjust toward hope. Adjust toward courage. Adjust toward belief. There may still be remnants of the old season lingering around you. Do not be discouraged by that. Transition is a process, not a single event. One foot may still feel planted in yesterday while the other steps into tomorrow. That tension is temporary. You are crossing over. You will begin to notice acceleration. Things that once required excessive effort may start flowing more naturally. Conversations that once stalled may move forward. Opportunities that once felt distant may come within reach. But remember this: acceleration requires stability. Do not abandon the disciplines that strengthened you. Do not neglect the quiet time that anchored you. The habits you built in preparation will sustain you in movement. My beloved child, this is not the end of your growth. It is the beginning of visible manifestation. The internal shift is meeting external evidence. You are stepping into alignment. Let gratitude anchor you. Let courage propel you. Let peace confirm you. The shift is happening now, not tomorrow, not eventually, but in this unfolding present moment. Trust it. Participate in it. And allow yourself to move with it, knowing that I am guiding every step as this new chapter begins to rise before you. My beloved child, as this shift unfolds, remember this truth above all. I go before you. You are not stepping into unknown territory alone. What feels new to you is already known to me. What feels uncertain to you is already mapped in my sight. You have often feared the unknown. You have wanted guarantees before movement. You have asked for clarity about every detail before taking a step. But if you knew every turn in advance, you would not need trust. And trust is what deepens your relationship with me. When you walk into a room you have never entered before, your senses become alert. You look around carefully. You observe. You evaluate. But imagine walking into that same room knowing someone you deeply trust has already prepared it for you. Your posture changes. Your breathing steadies. Confidence replaces tension. That is how I want you to walk forward. I have already stepped into your tomorrow. I have seen the challenges and prepared provision. I have seen the opportunities and aligned timing. I have seen the questions and positioned answers. You are not arriving at anything unaccompanied. There will be moments when you cannot see the full picture. You may feel like you are walking through fog. But fog does not mean absence of direction. It simply limits visibility to what is immediately ahead. And sometimes that is enough. Take the next step. You not demand the entire journey at once. If I revealed everything, you might become overwhelmed by the scale of it. Instead, I guide you incrementally, step by step, joys by joys, faith by faith. My beloved child, when uncertainty rises, remind yourself that I am already present in what you are approaching. You fear making the wrong turn, but I am able to redirect gently. You fear encountering obstacles, but I am able to strengthen you through them. You fear standing alone, but you are never alone. Think of a shepherd walking ahead of the flock. The sheep do not need to see the entire path. They simply follow the one who does. When the terrain changes, the shepherd adjusts the pace. When danger approaches, the shepherd intervenes. That is how I walk with you. You may still feel hesitation. That is natural. Courage is not the absence of uncertainty. It is the decision to trust despite it. And you have already demonstrated that trust in countless small ways. As you move forward, release the burden of control. You are responsible for obedience, not outcomes. You are responsible for faithfulness, not perfection. Let me carry what is beyond your reach. My beloved child, the future is not a threat. It is a continuation of my faithfulness. There will be beauty ahead that you cannot yet imagine. Conversations that affirm you. Opportunities that stretch you. Growth that surprises you. Even challenges that refine you further. But none of it will catch me off guard. When you feel unsure, Pause and breathe. Recall the seasons you have already survived. Remember how I carried you through uncertainty before. The same faithfulness that sustained you then will sustain you now. Walk forward knowing this. I am ahead of you, beside you, and within you. The path may curve. It may rise and fall. But you will not walk it alone. Trust my leading. Trust my preparation. And step into tomorrow with steady confidence, because I have already prepared the way before you. My beloved child, there are parts of your story that still confuse you. Moments where harm came from unexpected places. Situations where intentions against you felt deliberate. You have asked quietly, why was that allowed? Why did it unfold that way? And though not every detail will be explained, I want you to understand this. What was meant for harm is turning in your favor. You have seen betrayal. You have felt injustice. You have endured misunderstandings that painted you in a false light. At times, it seemed as though others advanced by stepping over you. It felt unfair. It felt painful. But I am not absent in injustice. Even when circumstances appeared to work against you, I was weaving something deeper. What others intended to limit you has instead strengthened you. What was meant to discourage you has clarified your resilience. What was meant to isolate you has deepened your dependence on me. Consider how pressure forms diamonds. The very force that could crush something ordinary transforms carbon into brilliance. In the same way, the pressure you endured did not destroy you. It refined you. It revealed a strength that comfort never could have produced. My beloved child, the pain was real, but it was not final. There were relationships that fractured, and you questioned your value. There were words spoken that lingered longer than they should have. There were doors closed by others that felt personal. But what they intended as rejection, I used as redirection. You thought you were being pushed out. I was guiding you forward. Here is a difference. When others misunderstood you, you learned to anchor your identity deeper than public opinion. When others underestimated you, you learned to quietly build strength rather than prove yourself loudly. When others withdrew support, you discovered that your foundation could not depend on human approval alone. These lessons were not pleasant, but they were powerful. You may still feel the sting of certain memories, but do not let those memories convince you that harm defines your story. Harm was a chapter, not the conclusion. I am able to take what was painful and transform it into preparation. There will be moments ahead when you recognize how past injustice shaped present opportunity. When you realize that being overlooked pushed you to develop skills others neglected. When you see that being excluded redirected you toward spaces more aligned with your calling. Nothing has been wasted. Even the seasons when you felt sidelined were building perspective. You learned empathy. You learned humility. You learned how to stand firm without bitterness. These qualities will carry you further than revenge ever could. My beloved child, release the desire to see harm repaid in the same measure it was given. Trust that I am able to balance what feels uneven. Your task is not to carry resentment. Your task is to keep walking forward with integrity. What was meant to discourage you has become fuel. What was meant to silence you has strengthened your voice. What was meant to break your confidence has forged it. And now, as you step into this new season, you are not entering as a victim of circumstance. You are entering as someone refined by experience. The turning I am orchestrating may not look dramatic at first, but you will notice subtle reversals, opportunities emerging from places of past pain, growth appearing where hurt once lingered. My beloved child, trust this process of transformation. The very places that wounded you will one day testify to your resilience. The experiences that once made you question your future will become evidence of your strength. What was meant for harm is turning, and as it turns, you will see that even the darkest chapters were used to shape the light now rising within you. My beloved child, as the old chapters settle behind you and the turning continues in your favor, I am inviting you to do something simple yet profound. Receive the new thing I am doing. Do not analyze it to exhaustion. Do not question it into silence. Do not hold it at a distance because it feels unfamiliar. Receive it. You have grown accustomed to bracing yourself. After disappointment, you learn to manage expectations. After loss, you learn to protect your heart. After delay, you learn to temper your excitement. Those coping strategies once helped you endure, but they can now prevent you from embracing joy. The new thing I am unfolding may not look exactly like what you imagined. It may arrive in a different package. It may begin quietly rather than dramatically. But it carries my signature: peace, alignment, steady growth. Do not reject it because it feels different. When a season changes, the air shifts gradually. The temperature adjusts. The light feels different on your skin. If you insist on clinging to the previous season's clothing, you will feel uncomfortable. In the same way, if you cling to outdated expectations, you may miss the comfort of what is now present. My beloved child, let go of rigid pictures of how blessing must appear. You once thought success would look one way. You once imagined fulfillment through a specific path. But I see wider than you. I understand what will truly satisfy your soul, not just your ego. Sometimes I reshape your dreams so they align more closely with who you have become. There may be opportunities emerging that feel surprising. Paths you did not consider before. Connections you did not expect. Instead of dismissing them because they differ from your earlier plans, pause and ask whether they align with peace and purpose. The new thing may also require you to release certain attachments. Old habits, old environments, even old identities. If you try to carry everything forward, you will feel weighed down. Concession requires surrender. You cannot fully receive what is ahead if your hands are still clinging tightly to what has passed. My beloved child, receiving is an act of trust. It means believing that what I am offering is good. It means allowing yourself to experience joy without constantly anticipating loss. There is courage in receiving. It takes courage to accept happiness when you have known hardship. It takes courage to embrace opportunity after rejection. It takes courage to believe that this time can be different. You do not need to rush. You do not need to force excitement. Simply remain open. Let gratitude soften your heart. Let expectancy replace guardedness. The new thing will not erase your past. It will integrate it. Your experiences have prepared you to appreciate this season more deeply. You will handle it with maturity you did not once possess. My beloved child, stop waiting for the other shoe to drop. Stop assuming that every good thing must end abruptly. Trust that I am capable of sustaining what I begin. When you sense peace surrounding an opportunity, lean into it. When you feel clarity about a decision, act on it. When joy rises gently within you, allow it to stay. You are not betraying your past by embracing your future. You are honoring your growth. Receive the new thing. Let it unfold without resistance. And trust that what I am doing now is not random, not fragile, not temporary, but intentional, aligned, and designed with your flourishing in mind. My beloved child, as you begin to receive what I am unfolding, I want you to anchor yourself in one powerful posture: gratitude. Not gratitude that waits for everything to be complete, but gratitude that rises even while the process is still in motion. Gratitude is not denial of challenges. It is recognition of movement. There are still areas of your life that are developing. There are still prayers in progress. There are still questions that have not fully resolved. But even now, there is evidence of growth. There is evidence of alignment. There is evidence of my hand guiding you. When you choose gratitude before the full manifestation, you are speaking faith. You are declaring that you trust the outcome even while the details are unfolding. Gratitude shifts your focus from what is missing to what is emerging. My beloved child, remember where you once stood. There was a time when you longed for clarity, and now you have it in ways you did not before. There was a time when you prayed for strength, and now you carry resilience that surprises even you. There was a time when you felt lost, and now you sense direction. Pause and acknowledge that progress. The heart that remains grateful remains grounded. When blessings begin to appear, gratitude protects you from pride. When challenges persist, gratitude protects you from despair. It keeps you balanced, steady, aware. Think of gratitude as sunlight for your spirit. It nourishes what is good. It helps hope grow stronger. It warms areas that once felt cold with disappointment. You do not need to wait until everything is perfect to say thank you. Thank me for the doors that opened. Thank me for the ones that closed. Thank me for the lessons that strengthened you. Thank me for the protection you did not even see. My beloved child, gratitude also prepares you for increase. When you appreciate small growth, you are entrusted with greater growth. When you steward minor opportunities with joy, you become ready for larger ones. Gratitude expands your capacity. There will be moments ahead when success becomes visible, when others begin to notice what I have been doing in you. In those moments, let gratitude remain your anchor. Remember the quiet seasons. Remember the waiting. Remember the battles you survived. Gratitude keeps your heart tender. It reminds you that you are supported, guided, sustained. Even now, as you listen to these words, breathe in thankfulness. Not because everything is finished, but because everything is moving. My beloved child, joy is not reserved for the destination. It is found along the journey. When you choose gratitude, you allow yourself to experience that joy. There may still be obstacles. There may still be adjustments. But you are not standing where you once stood. You are not the person you once were. Growth has occurred. Doors have shifted. Alignment is happening. Thank me in advance for what is coming. Thank me for the restoration unfolding. Thank me for the peace that now steadies your steps. Gratitude is not passive. It is powerful. It declares confidence in my faithfulness. As you stand in gratitude, your perspective lifts. Your heart softens. Your faith strengthens. My beloved child, let thanksgiving become your language. Let it be to have you pleasure. And as you do, you will notice that the more you acknowledge what is forming, the more clearly you will see how far you have already come. My beloved child, as you stand in gratitude and watch this new season unfold, understand something deeply. This is not the end of your story. It is only the beginning of a greater chapter. What you are stepping into now is not the final destination. It is the doorway to continued growth, deeper purpose, and wider impact. You once thought that arrival would feel like completion. That once you reached a certain point, everything would settle permanently into place. But life with me is not static. It is living, breathing, unfolding. The breakthrough you experience now is not meant to be a ceiling. It is a foundation. Everything you have walked through, every delay, every closed door, every battle, every lesson has positioned you here. What here is not meant to contain you. It is meant to launch you. There will be new dreams forming within you, new desires emerging, new ideas stirring. Do not be surprised by them. Growth produces vision. As you mature, your capacity expands. What once felt like enough will begin to stretch into something greater. My beloved child, this is how purpose unfolds layer by layer. Do not cling too tightly even to this season of fulfillment. Celebrate it. Steward it. Be grateful for it. But remain open to continued evolution. I am not finished shaping you. I am not finished guiding you. There are depths within you that have not yet been explored. You may feel a sense of relief right now, a sense of finally arriving at stability after long uncertainty. That relief is deserved. Rest in it. But do not mistake rest for stagnation. Rest renews you for the next assignment. There will be people who cross your path because of where you now stand. People who need your story. People who will be encouraged by your perseverance. Your journey has not only been for you. It carries influence beyond what you can see. The strength you built will strengthen others. The wisdom you gained will guide others. The compassion you developed will comfort others. My beloved child, as you move forward, remember how it felt to be in earlier chapters. Remember the confusion, the waiting, the longing. Let that memory keep you humble and empathetic. You are not rising to forget where you came from. You are rising to bring light into places you once stood. There will still be challenges ahead. New levels often bring new tests. But you no longer face them as someone uncertain of your resilience. You have evidence now of your growth. You have history with my faithfulness. This season is not the conclusion of struggle forever. It is the beginning of living with greater awareness of who you are and whose you are. My beloved child, allow yourself to dream again. Allow yourself to imagine impact beyond your immediate circle. Allow yourself to believe that what is unfolding now is only a preview of what is possible. Do not confine your expectations to what you have already seen. I am able to do more than you ask or imagine. And as you remain open, grateful, courageous, and attentive, you will continue to step into deeper layers of purpose. This moment you are experiencing, the alignment, the restoration, the open door, is sacred. But it is also a starting point, the beginning of new growth, the beginning of greater clarity, the beginning of expanded influence. Stand firmly here. Celebrate what has been accomplished. But keep your heart open. My beloved child, the story continues, and I am still writing it with you, guiding you forward into chapters that will reveal even more of the strength, grace, and purpose that have been forming within you all along. My beloved child, we have walked through many layers together. You have seen how every delay shaped you, how every closed door redirected you, how every battle strengthened you, how every tear watered unseen seeds. Now stand still for a moment and look back, not with regret, not with pain, but with understanding. Everything led to this. The waiting was not empty. The heartbreak was not meaningless. The silence was not abandonment. The confusion was not punishment. Each step, even the uncertain ones, carried you toward this appointed hour. What once felt scattered has formed a pattern. What once felt broken has become foundation. You are not the same person who began this journey. You are steadier now, wiser, more discerning, more compassionate, stronger in quiet ways that cannot be shaken easily. And as you stand in this new season, know that you did not arrive here by accident. You arrived here through preparation, perseverance, and my faithful guidance. This moment is not random. It is aligned. The door before you is open. The shift within you is real. The restoration around you is unfolding. Walk forward with confidence. Walk forward with humility. Walk forward with trust. And as you carry this message in your heart, listen closely, my beloved child. If this word has strengthened you, then let it flow beyond you. When you choose to support this mission through Super Thanks, membership, or the PayPal link placed in the description and shown in the QR code, you are not giving to a channel. You are sowing into souls who are still waiting for light. I declare over you, those who sow in tears shall reap in joy, and your generosity becomes seed that I multiply into harvest. If you feel the stirring to act, that is me inviting you into partnership. You not ignore the holy urgency of obedience. Your gift becomes oil in the lamp, fire on the altar, bread for the hungry heart scrolling in the dark. As you release what is in your hand, I release blessing over your life, pressed down, shaken together, and running over. This is not a transaction. It is a prophetic act that opens doors for others to encounter my voice. Step into this moment and sow boldly. My beloved child, I bless your steps ahead. I bless your mind with clarity. I bless your heart with peace. I bless your hands with fruitful work. I bless your home with stability. I bless your future with hope. Walk in courage. Walk in gratitude. Walk in the awareness that I am with you always. Everything led to this moment, and this moment is only the beginning. Amen.